Hello my beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonah. Today we're talking about the state of Overwatch. As a grandmaster player that also plays in Masters and Diamonds, that private coaches people and in general is an Overwatch coach. I've been playing the games since the beta, the open beta, and I've been playing all the way up to now, spamming ranked, playing competitively, both as a player and now of course as a coach. And I want to talk about the state of the game. So with no further ado, let's really just begin. The first one that I hear a lot of time is that the meta sucks. And what I think is very important for people to understand here, because again, remember how I consume Overwatch. I consume Overwatch in really two ways. I play ranked myself, and of course I private coach a lot of ranked, right? Everyone in between bronze and top 500 I coach. So I consume a lot of ranked myself by playing it and whatnot. Of course, a lot of YouTube videos also rely on me doing ranked, with these like hero breakdowns that I do in Diamond, on my Diamond Smurf. And then I consume rank from a scrim perspective, right? From a high tier scrimming perspective of teams. And it's very important to understand the differences of those two ways of playing the game, because it's two different games. As a scrim, you will have 6 people, potentially in GM, right? So 6 people in GM, all of them which are good on their roles, all of them that play, let's say, 6 hours a day. So I have a team right now that plays I think that they scrim for 5 hours in a row outside of our reviews. So 5 hour scrims every single day on same map pools with same strategies. We run the same thing over again. It's the same people. You have a coaching staff behind you that does individual VOD reviews, that does theory crafting with the team to break down how we're supposed to do stuff, where we're supposed to push, why we're doing this, why we're doing that. We're building comm structures with them. You're getting to know the players around you. And again, you play a lot with the same roster, the same maps, the same strategies over and over and over and over again, right? That gives you a form of consistency on top of the fact that, again, the guys are already mechanically really good, game sense really good on their position, and on top of the fact that they are mechanically good and they have the game sense and all that good stuff. On top of that, they are also having a coaching staff backing them. That is reviewing their VODs, they're reviewing their game, their overall team gameplay, their individual stuff, that's giving the feedback, that is helping them understand their mistakes and why those are mistakes. And all of these guys are doing that, right? So when I say that you and your best friend are playing like this, but you guys should be playing like that, you guys can therefore sit in a VOD review together and make a playstyle together and understand each other and build, a synergy that you cannot do. Compare that to ranked, where there's 5 other randoms, and on the enemy team there's 6 other randoms. It's a random map. You don't know what team composition you're gonna play, right? Because there's no like predetermined anything. Most people, if you are the average player, then you're probably like anywhere between diamond and gold, right? You yourself is not mechanically or like gameplay wise, mastering the heroes or position you're on. There's a big chance that on your team that either you or someone else is not playing the hero or the position that they are going to play this match, right? And there's no comms at all. And even if there was comms, most people would not understand it, because remember again that most teams understand the comms because of the way that they have already pre-arranged stuff. For example, they call blue on a certain map. Where is that? What does that mean? If someone say Hanzo top right, okay, does that mean that we're diving him, or is it just a warning call? If it just is a warning call, whose job is that? And this is stuff that is normally explained in a team, but in ranked, no one cares, no one knows, and there's a lot of misunderstanding. And in general, therefore, comms is not also, even though there isn't any comms, even if there is, a lot of time, they're not working as intended. Because nobody knows really how to do it. No one knows how to set up a dive. No one knows how to set up a good push. No one understands ability management. Again, logically, because you're not scrimming with the same team, with a coaching staff at very high elo over and over and over again. Okay? So when people say the meta sucks, there's 2 ways to look at that. From a competitive standpoint, from a team standpoint, right, scrimming and tournaments, the meta right now is a very hard countering meta. Which means that how we play it in pro tier or high tier, right, is that, there's goats and all the different variants of goats, right? So floats, which is Winston goats, which some people call votes for some reason. There is notes, which is essentially May goats. There is quad support, which some people still will call the goats, right? Then there is triple and quad DPS, which to a certain extent it was built to counter goats, right? And if you want to learn more about that, I made a video breaking down a contenders team. I'll link that down in the description where I break down a quad DPS just absolutely destroying a GOATS comp. Like snowballing 2 points, like having 6 minutes at the time bank, right? So quad and triple DPS are built was built and played by a lot of teams to counter GOATs, especially GOATs on defense. And then some teams then play dive with 2-2 to counter the quad DPS comp again, right? To try to counter that, they play their 2-2 dive. And then there's some people that play the bunker comp with Bastion on defense, right? And that's been playing more and more consistently after Baptiste getting played out. So we see this on like Hanamura, we see it on Mbani, we see it still on Junkertown, right? That some teams still play that Bastion 2-2, or not 2-2 even, just a Bastion bunker comp with like Baptiste and Orisa and stuff like that, right? And this does that in the competitive scene, the heroes that are played are really, in the tank roster, it's everyone kinda not Roadhog, but sometimes Roadhog, but kinda not Roadhog, but really anyone else than Roadhog is being played. And of course, Orisa's only been playing the bunker comp mostly. On the damage heroes, you see Genji, Doomfist, you see Hanzo's being played, you see Mace sometimes being played, you see Pharos being played, you see Sombra, you even see Torbjorn, you see Tracers, and you also see Widowmakers. So most heroes, and sometimes you see Ashe, but it's not that much, right? But most heroes are played even in the DPS category, just because of quad and triple DPS being a thing. And then on the support aspect of the game, most supports also being played. Some are being played, of course, more than others. We see a lot of Lucio, a lot of Break, a lot of Sen. You know, we see, and then after that, you know, we do see some Baptiste, we do see some Moira, we do see some Ana, and Mercy is, of course, plays in stuff like, you know, pharmacy comps and so on, right? And all of that stuff is the competitive aspect of the game, where there is this very hard countering meta and so on, and where the meta is very strict. For a competitive aspect of the point, especially outside of high masters and GM, there are some games where we have to play a little bit meta, where meaning at least we, for example, need a Ryan Zarya and a Brig, for example, where that's kind of like, yeah, we kinda do need this, or for example, we kinda do need a Zen because we kinda need trans. Doesn't mean that it's a must, but in some games we need to, because the enemy team is going to play certain team compositions. But outside of that, and even in GM, remember that I played Genji, and my mechanics are not, I'm not a Shadow Burn, I'm not a Necros, I'm not a Shatter 2K, an Agilities player, right? I'm none of those, right? So, even me, playing Genji, and not just like maining Genji 2 seasons ago, got 4.2k, and that was the peak of Goats meta. There was most people played Goats, and I was sitting on Genji just enjoying myself and having a blast, and won all 10 placement games and all that good stuff as a Genji. Because, well, why? Because it was, I understood how to play the game against it, right? And because most people forced themselves. So sometimes there was Ryan players that wasn't Ryan mains, that was out of position all the time. Sometimes there was Zenyatta players that wasn't Zen mains, that was out of position all the times. Breaks that wasted ability, Zaryas that waste bubble because they're used to playing this hyper aggressive, just bubble everything, get 100 energy and carry style, which means, oh, there's a bunch of openings there, right? And so on. So on the rank ladder, and especially in the lower elos, normally you can play really whatever hero you want. There are some exceptions that makes it harder. And sometimes, yes, you have to swap from, for example, I have to go off my Genji and over to my Hanzo, which is like me swapping between 1 out of 2 heroes, right? But if you can play mostly any role, any position in the game, and most every single hero in lower elos, in like, you know, masters and like mid masters, low masters, and down, and you can carry the shit out of those games and rank up and win. There's something that comes out of me private coaching people, for me playing myself on a Diamond account, on a Masters account, and on a GM account, playing with Grandmasters and talking with other GMs. And also, again, as I said, private coaching anywhere in between Bronze and Top 500, that you can do almost anything you want. Sometimes you have to swap, but outside of that, the meta doesn't affect it, because no one in fucking Plat or Diamond knows how to play Goats correctly, and there's a lot of mistakes being done. No one knows how to dive. No one knows how to play quad DPS. And to become fairly honest with everyone, I'm more scared of quad DPS in Diamond, where every DPS player is a DPS main or one trick, and then there's a Hammond guy that's just memeing around. I'm more scared of that shit in Diamond than I'm scared of meeting a Ghost comp in Diamond, where not everyone is tank main and not everyone is a support main, and I can just bully them from high grounds, and it's just super easy. And that is a grandmaster guy in Diamond where I can outduel any DPS, but because there are so many of them, they can just outdo my team if they want to. That is more scary than me seeing goats in Diamond. Goats is super easy, and of course, in the beginning of all meta swaps and new heroes, there's always going to be struggles with people not being able to counter that hero because, you know, there's a new hero, they don't really know how to play against it. So yeah, if you're not allowed to play a hero, that's you not allowing it. I talked with a YouTuber not too long ago who's talked a lot about meta and Overwatch and how he doesn't find the game fun and the game is dying and all kinds of stuff, making a bunch of these videos. And he said him that, and I told him again that if he's not allowed to play his hero, it's because he is forcing himself to pick something that he's not good on. That's why he's losing, so he's not performing in these games, instead of him just playing what he knows he's going to perform on that map against that team comp or with that team comp. That's how you should think about the game if you want to rank up, and also if you want to enjoy the game. Now, outside of that, there's too many broken heroes. This is where we start talking about what actually affects rank ladder. That is, and also competitive, of course, but especially rank ladder. Broken individual heroes. We're talking pre-nerf break. We're talking mercy meta. That is an individual hero. That fucks with you in rank ladder. That's actually bullshit on the rank ladder, because it's not a team composition. You need 1 out of those 6 players to be decent on that one hero. And just pick it. And then if your team doesn't mirror it because it's so busted, they have a huge advantage. For example, Mercy meta, where she can just rest 3 players because fuck you, that's why. Right? That was actually bullshit. And that affected the rank ladder heavily, because if you had a Mercy player, you had a huge advantage in any elo. Because resting 3 players is good in any elo. And the only way to try to punish that, for example, if I was in Diamond, on a Diamond account, the only way I tried to punish that was to see if I could pick the Mercy. But there is a lot of people that is very easily adapting to Mercy. The same goes with Brig. Brig was very, very busted. That fucked with the meta very heavily, because it was very difficult to counter the Brig before she counters your team without playing Brig yourself. Because the stun was busted and there was a lot of damage. And the fact was that at that point we were forced to try as a flanker to engage a Brig that can one-shot us. So if you play Tracer, you would have to try to kill the Brig, but the Brig can one-shot you. And if she doesn't, she can normally just wait you out and make you waste a lot of time trying to zone her instead of killing her team, right? And at that point, it became a struggle playing against those. Those are a problem, but there's not really any of those problems right now. Brig is not that strong anymore, doesn't stun for shield, huge damage. Now same goes with Mercy. Her slow ass res can normally be shut down, and she's not that good compared to other heroes when it comes to skill caps and like just in general what you can do as a carry with her. She's not a must pick anymore. Some people complain about Sombra. Sombra can be irritating, but is definitely counterable because most people don't know how to properly play Sombra. And she's very counterable. She does bully Ryans, the same with Doomfist. They do bully Ryans, but most of the time when it comes to these really broken heroes like Doomfist and Sombra that most people complain about, what most people are doing wrong, and I see this when I private coach especially, is that when people die to them, they're out of position themselves. It's not really that the hero or the player is good, right? It's a gold Doomfist main. How good can he be, right? It's more the fact that gold Doomfist main caught your gold Zenyatta ass out of position because you were out of position. Because again, normally you can shut down a Doom pretty heavily before it starts becoming like fucking masters and shit where the Doomfist is feeling like he's fucking teleporting through walls to get the send, right? So most broken heroes becomes really broken in higher tiers when they're actually good, and at that point it has something to do again with that you are at a disadvantage if you play one of the heroes that he hard counters, but most heroes is not hard countered by Sombra, by Doomfist, and normally you can play it very smart, positioning wise and gameplay wise to deal with those. Just because you can't kill it doesn't mean that it's busted, right? Or just because it's like you can't delete it immediately doesn't mean that it's busted. If you were just letting the guy, like if you're just zoning the Doomfist or zoning the Sombra and she's not doing anything, just memeing around in your backline, just like trying to go stealth and not being able to get any value out of it, then, well, then it's a 5v6, right? So that's kind of a little bit on the broken heroes. There are some heroes that has been broken, and outside of that, yes, you can't always one trick your hero, and that's where you gotta have a backup hero to play, or even a couple of backup heroes to play. And yes, I'm very sorry that Overwatch is a game and has always been a game where you can't always play hero that you want necessarily without, really playing that hero way better than what you are in your current dealer. So a gold Zenyatta player that want to play against, Tracer, Doomfist, Widowmaker, Sombra, fucking Hammond, shit, right? That kind of stuff needs to not play like a gold Zenyatta and actually needs to play like a platinum Zenyatta or a diamond Zenyatta to shut these guys down, to stay alive and get value, and abuse the fact that a gold dive team like that, quad DPS setup like that, has a lot of positioning mistakes that is super easily abused, and a lot of shit that you can zone as a Zen. Now, just moving on from these kind of broken heroes statements that, again, I think is more about the individual players dying to stuff and then being mad about it. Let's move over to progression system in the game. Progression system in the game in Overwatch is lackluster at best, in my opinion. The fact with progression system is that what most games, so let's say League of Legends, for example. League of Legends had a really good progression system. You level up, you get these capsules, which unlocks champion shots and skins and all kinds of some like fun stuff like that. Outside of that, you have like a good honor level system, which is like pretty nice to have. If you do good in a match or whatever, you can get an endorsement, which can give you these kind of keys, like key fragments, which you can build into a key that can open a chest. And the chest, again, that gives you champion shots and skins and all kinds of rewards. There is a quest system, which rewards you for playing certain quests and doing like certain game modes and doing certain stuff in the game modes, right? Which sometimes are fun, sometimes a little bit tedious, but sometimes a lot of time are fun. And it takes you out of the competitive mode for a period of time, or at least that you can do stuff inside the competitive mode. Like, for example, getting a certain vision score or something like that. And then there are also stuff like, watch a pro match and then you get certain rewards, or sign up for like, who you gonna think is gonna win different brackets, and then there's potential to win rewards. This way there's a lot of progression system. There's a lot of like small, cute, fun events and so on, which I like, which I think is a good way of running a progression system compared to Overwatch, where we get very same events over and over again. Now the Archives event is going to come, which is going to be fucking amazing. I can't wait. The Archives event is always like the event of Overwatch, but outside that, there's not really many exciting events, and outside that, there's not really much to do. There is, of course, grinding loot boxes, which you can do with the arcade mode, which I love, but that's still like, yeah, I get 3 loot boxes, which isn't that exciting for me at least. And then there's gold weapon grinding and competitive, and besides that, the game is about getting better at the game. And for me, I enjoy that. I have nothing wrong with progression right now. For me just playing the game and pushing accounts to masters and pushing accounts towards GM and staying in GM and having fun there, and playing a diamond on different heroes and so on, and testing stuff for YouTube content and all kinds of stuff like that. I enjoy that because I enjoy just playing the game, improving at the game, being better at the game, and constantly improving and constantly being better. I enjoy that in Overwatch because I'm a very competitive player like that. But not everyone enjoys that. And even if you are like me and you really just love improving, getting better, and so on, which is the reason that I'm rarely mad at like a meta, because for me it's just a new learning curve. But if you're like me and you're like, yeah, okay, so you like that, it still wouldn't hurt with a good progression system, both for the casuals and the people that doesn't care about, ranking up and so on, but also because of how, just in general, it's never wrong. There's never bad with extra content and extra fun stuff to do and extra stuff to unlock. For example, if we can get a rating system in Overwatch on like how you did a match on a hero. So let's say that I play Genji in a match, or like mainly Genji in a match, and I perform really well, and I get an S, right? Then you get an S, or you get an A, or you get a B, or you get a C, right? Graded. And if I get a certain amount of S's or a certain amount of points, like in League, for example, I don't like a specific skin. Maybe it's just a recalling, but it's a specific skin. Or maybe a specific weapon skin, or maybe it has a specific unlock. Like, instead of golden weapon, it's like these kind of glowing light weapons. That would be pretty fucking dope, right? Something like that. That's just top of my head, right? To be allowed something like that, I think would again add another layer of stuff to do, as most of the achievements are either boring or very easy to complete in the game, and they only give you like a little spray. Skins, weapon skins, something like that would be really cool, both short term with quest and so on, but also long term, something to grind towards. So So yeah, I think that that's something that they should really work on. Number 4, what a lot of people complain is ultimates are too reliable, meaning that we are relying too much on ultimates in the game. It's too an ultimate focused game. And again, people with nostalgic glasses all talk about this like this was not a problem before. This is something that has been heavily dialed back. November 15, 2016, I needed to Google the patch note, but I found the patch note. November 15, 2016, there was an overall nerf to ultimates that took ultimate cost and increased it by 25%, and some heroes got increased it even more. May got increased her ultimate charge on top of this by 15% because you could build Blizzard too fast. Nano Boost was nerfed, which was a huge thing because Nano Boost was busted with speed before. Dragon Blade was nerfed down from 8 to 6 seconds, right? In general, ultimates have been nerfed a lot across the board. Some have been buffed a little bit, like Sorry Graviton, but outside of that, ultimates have been nerfed a lot of time across the board to try to make them less reliable. But I think that removing Overwatch ultimates, or even like dialing the back so like you can get one ultimate every 4 team fight, right? That is gonna ruin the game, because some heroes like Widowmaker would benefit greatly from it, but some heroes like Genji and Sombra would die from it. Because Genji and Sombra, their win condition is a lot of time to build an ultimate. Like that's a big way of carrying as those two heroes, to build ultimate and use them correctly, which is a high skill cap, right? And while Widowmaker is far more about individual frag potential, right? And I think that that would just destroy a lot of how Overwatch is played if they were to increase the cost too much. Or something like that. I personally don't think that it is. Again, most ultimates in low guilds can get outplayed very easily. It can deflect gravitons, you can eat gravitons, you can front tank the graviton, you can fucking kill her when she runs in a straight line towards you guys. You guys can spread out and position yourself not in a cluster, so you have support ultimates, so you can use to counter graviton. The same goes with shatter. You can block the shatter with a break shield, with a Ryan shield, with a Sorry bubble, by being on high grounds, by being out of the way of their Ryan, right? All this kind of by, again, support ulting on top of the shatter. A lot of time you can do that, and body blocking his pin with a trance, and Zenyatta, right? There's a bunch of shit you can do to shut down ultimates. And for me, that's a lot about also how the fun of the game is. That's, okay, they have these ultimates, we need to force them earlier, we need to try to outplay them by, cucking the Genji's Dragon Blade, or shutting down the High Noon or the Tac Visor. And I think, again, that's a lot about the game. And if that is removed, or anything like that, that is gonna mess up how the game is being played. That's my personal opinion, of course, on ultimates. And then in the end, we talked about toxicity. So toxicity is something that's mentioned a lot, as that's a big problem in Overwatch. I think that how Blizzard is doing it right now, they're good at punishing toxic people by muting them, giving them warnings, potentially perma-banning their accounts, or at least banning their account, restricting them from competitive play, etc., 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 and muting them in chats. I think that what they're doing wrong, however, is that they are very good at punishing toxic people, but they are very bad at rewarding positive people. So again, something like the endorsement system in League of Legends, our endorsement system sucks ass. I'm gonna just say it. It's really bad. You get like a couple of loot boxes. Being level 2 is like the easiest thing in the world. Like, you can just AFK and you'll be on level 2. Being on a level 3 is also quite easy to get. You get like 2 loot boxes every full moon. And okay, great, that's 2 loot boxes. I can get, I get 1 each level up, and I can get 3 from your weekly arcade. And it's just it's normally regular loot boxes, and you rarely give us during events. If you'd been like, yeah, during an event you'll get like 5 loot boxes if you're level 3 endorsement, that would be like, oh, well, now we at least start to talk a little bit here, right? If you're level 4, you'll get like if you're level 4, level 5, you'll get like 10, 20 loot boxes, at that level. That would be like, oh, that's actually a significant reward around those event times. But outside that, I think a long-term honor system would be good. And again, in League, it's like, 1, if you get endorsed, you get honor level. And you get a lot of honor level, which is like this cool little logo, whatever. And on top of that, if you get honor level, every time you're getting endorsed, if you get endorsed enough, you get a key fragment, which again, you can use to craft a key that can open a box, which again gives you loot, right? And again, these boxes have far more value to it, and there's a long-term goal, and there's also these shorter-term goals in being positive and so on. So I think that the game should try to up their game a little bit. Maybe give like endorsement points, or like positivity point, or whatever, which can again be used to purchase specific skins or specific variant of skins, right? It doesn't need to be a brand new skin, just needs to be a cool coloration, for example, of a skin, right? Which means that, okay, this guy's on the level, like endorsement level 5 Genji skin. That's pretty dope. Or a different type of weapon skin again, because there's so many other skins. So a different type of weapon skin, or a very specific emote, or something cool like that that you can flash in games to make yourself look cool. I think that would be a really good way to combat toxicity, by not just punishing toxic people, but also by rewarding people that are doing good, not both short term and also long term, so people have again something to grind towards. And again, this would be a part of your progression system. Stuff like this is a part of your progression system, about helping the game feel like there's more to do than just becoming better, wrecking people, and just becoming much better on ranking up and grinding for gold weapons. Which again, I think would help out the game incessantly. This is my opinions on the game. Therefore, I would love to hear yours down in the comment section below. Sorry for the long video. I need to get this off my chest. So I would like to hear what you guys think down. If you agree or disagree, it's fine to disagree, at least on some points or all points. I would like to hear why you think that while I'm wrong, or why you agree with me, and so on, what your point of view on this is, as I think this is a very important discussion to have in the community. Now, outside of that, guys, as always, guys, my name is Journal. Peace, take care of yourselves, stay positive, and as always, guys, keep the enemy in your crosshair.